Hello everybody and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. Now in the last episode we started creating our first high-speed passenger train, and what should I say, it is an absolutely fabulous, amazing success. So as we can see, the money is flowing on. This locomotive here alone is actually currently netting me almost 4 million out of credits. That's for each one of these stations that we have that it passes through, as we can see. Absolutely amazing. So high speed with beautiful locomotives, well, you get a lot of profit out of it, but this is not the end of it. We just got a new amazing train, and that is the TGV. And the TGV, well, that's the train that we are going to use now. So this locomotive, well, we're in the 80s now, hasn't been really in use for that long, I think around 5 years or something like that. And this is the end of it already, because let's have a look at our trains. So there we have this one here, 1970, and we got a new train now, and down here we have it, the TGV. It can actually top speed now 300 kilometers an hour, has a power of 6,400 and a capacity of 144, which isn't that much. But if we have like 3 or 4 trains on this route, well, then it is quite sufficient again. It was built in 1981. It is the first really high-speed built train. The famous high-speed train operated by the French National Railway Company. It is permanently coupled electric multiple unit and was built for operation between Paris and the southeast of France. There we have it. Quite expensive, 58 million it costs me. But well, I think it is worth it, and there we have it, as we can see in all its glory. I hope it's going to be worth it, right? If not, well, then we have to think about something. But we have 944 million at the moment, 932 million credits, so I should say it is worth it. Let's have a look at it. I'm really eager to see it, this beauty. There we have it in all its glory. This, whoa, that was 3.8 million just now that it netted us, but I think with the people from the other one. And look at that, it's starting, and it's already starting much faster than the previous locomotive. It has way more power. And let's just see, some of you also asked me to go through the tunnel. There we have the tunnel vision, and let's just see how fast it can really go. I'm pretty sure that it cannot reach 300 kilometers an hour, but at least 200 should be fine. This tunnel is pretty long. So as we can see, it's now already going faster than the previous train, right? So every kilometer an hour counts for getting a bit more money out of it. And that was 150 kilometers almost, but still not really that much. We still have to figure out how we get these 300 kilometers out of this beautiful train here. But, well, as we can see, really beautiful. And we got a private chat now as well, or private chat, a really small chat that is, that we are going to use soon. And I just love it. And now for all of those that are also a bit worrying about, or well, are not that happy with locomotives turning around, as we can see on this beauty here, we do actually have 2 locomotives on either side, so we don't see it, switching anymore. And that was 5 million in credits right now from this track, so I think because of the higher speed it gets even more money out of it now. So the profit is just increasing with that. And as we can see, we didn't see how it switched, and that is the beauty of it, right? Of trains with 2 locomotives on either side. This is how it should be, and this is how it's going to be more often from now on. Beautiful. And this is only the beginning. I'm looking forward to the ICE that we're going to use then as well. This is on its way now, hopefully with enough speed. Let me just check real quick where the other one is. The other one is here, right now starting. So they are both on opposite sides each, right? So one is in Bolton, one is in Ripon now. And as we can see, there is the other one over the bridge. It's a bit slower, but I would love to see more top speed then. And then we have to figure out how to reach these 300 kilometers in that regard. Right. Now, while that is working, we have a few other things to manage right now. First of all, I totally forgot my ships. I mean, look at that. We still have this old vessel here, shipping the stone in the most inefficient manner. I'm pretty baffled. I'm baffled that it makes some profit there. Actually, I don't think they make profit. We got a few of them working right now, the very old ones, and let's just exchange them with new generation cargo ships, right? So the one that we have used so far was this one here, the Tau boat. from 1943, and we do have now 1950 ships available. I don't think any more modern one. Oh, there we have a container ship Rostock that we have as well. Can carry 1,200 in capacity. I think this is a bit overboard, but the axle will be fine as well. Oh, and because it's a big ship, we do need a big harbor. We don't have a big harbor yet. Let's just have a look at that. There it is. Main building, small dock, large dock. Right, so it does need a larger dock. And there we have it. That's a large one, and we have to do the same thing on the other dock as well. Like this. I think this is Badger. And then we should be able now to change it. Let's have a look at that once again. Change the vehicles to the big one. There we have it. It's now working. And then we got this new generation of ships there. Actually, it's not really a new generation. It's still 1950, but it should be fine. The only problem that this one has now, right now, is for some reasons, yep, the stations disappeared. There we got the port. Something is wrong here. Build a large dock, build a small dock. Cargo, main building. We have the main building. And then I do have the large one. Right, now it's working again, so I had to get rid of the dock there and build a large one. So now we got also some more modern ships there working. They can actually carry 220 tons of stone then into each direction. Beautiful. Now we have that. We should still do the same thing with the other line as well. So shipstone 2 that we have, and I'm also going to modernize it for the latest generation of ships that we have. Also working now perfect. A bit slow perhaps, is it? It's just taking a lot of time, I think, to really go up to speed there. Now, that is that, and we still have lots of work though, because, and this is funny, we do have a very special train route active right now from Riverdale to Bolton, and this is actually a train line that I completely neglected up to this point. Look at that, it's a train line that still has a steam locomotive, and it also still has the wagons from 1930 it is. And this steam locomotive here, the blue one, remember, I think this is like 50, 60 years old now, 50 years. And it's still working, it's still making us a bit of money there though, right? So it's not a loss, but still, of course, it is hindering the growth of these cities, and that is something we cannot allow. So in that regard, we're going to have a new high-speed track, because, well, I think it's not really possible to have high speed on this route here. Might be possible. As we can see, we got lots of good tracks here actually. So down here with the high speed we can start again. The stations I think don't matter that much, or we might just change them then as well. Other than that, I need to do this now for the whole track, and then we can also have some beautiful, bigger, more modern locomotives here. Though I don't think that TGV for this one. No idea yet. We'll see about that, how many passengers actually use these trains. Alright, so the whole thing has been now laid out with some high-speed tracks. The only thing that I don't like is this part here, right? There are way too many curves. That was in the early days when I wanted to save a bit of money with the landscaping, right, along the streets here. That is something we don't need anymore. There's still a train on this track here now, and once it's gone, we're doing what? We're going to get rid of the whole thing here. Also the train depot there. For now, I don't think that I'm going to need it. Also the tracks, which is going to hurt a bit because we have beautiful signals on it and whatnot, and I think it's going to mess around with some of my lines. Still, it is necessary to have the next generation high-speed tracks than on this one. And there is also a little road here with an industry down here that I'm certainly never going to use, right? What is this? Oh, it's an oil well, right? Producing some oil, but there's nothing close by that would even need it. So in that case, let's just get rid of it. Plus we can build them again if we want to. Also, that street here. And what I'm going to do here now is... yeah, this one here needs to go. That was a huge nuisance for quite some time. it made it impossible to have longer trains, you know, because if one train stops here, coming from this side, it would block the way for all the trains that want to leave. So this is another thing that we're going to get rid of now, that we're going to fix in that regard. It was absolutely not necessary to do this. The tracks are coming then from here. That is still fine. This is something that we can use. But for now, what we're doing is we're going to make this a bit more straightforward, right? The whole thing. So there is actually some high speed possible for these trains. Wait a second. I think I will still need to get rid of those tracks here as well. Poor train doesn't know what's happening to it. And the same thing on the other side. Right, we want some higher speeds on these tracks there. Very good, and there we can connect it. Alright, there's something blocking. Very good, and there it is. Everything's working now, so the grain train coming from this side is then going to merge with the high-speed track, but really just for this small path here, and then going right to the other tracks for my grain line that goes then to these stations. So this minimizes the amount that the grain train is on the high-speed tracks or on the passenger tracks. They're going to be much more important in the future, these passenger trains, you know, because they are just earning way more money the bigger the cities get. This is quite important to know, so we do need these tracks really open for my passenger transportation. This of course goes then to Bolton and then continues to Nelson. Now we still also have, oh wait a second, we're doing that in a second. For now, this should be fine and everything, so there's also the train passing through that. The only thing that we need here is some signals, so I'm not going to use the waypoints anymore, fret not. In that case, we do have the signals here already, so I'm also going to use the signals here, so that the trains know that they can pass through. We are also going to use... that is tricky though. No, I would not use a signal here, because if there is a problem on that track or that track, the train will stop in here blocking both ways. So that is something I cannot do, right? We can have a signal though here. Inbound and outbound, so wherever it goes, that should be fine. And one into this direction on that side here once again, so to know if the track's available or not. That is quite important. Now we have that. What I still wanted to look after is that bridge. It is a problem. We do have that ship line here, but the ship line is not making any money anymore. Plus it never really was meant to last anyway, so we can get rid of it now. Right, so the ships are not really that useful. We have fast passenger transportation now, and with that I can also get rid of this bridge here. That was a bit of a nuisance there, especially for the trains, because they, well, were very, very slow in that regard. Also, we have here a street. Let's get rid of that first. I think it's blocking that. Yeah. And just look at how much trash that is. Right, much better. There we still have the road. The road comes over from the bridge, and then most likely continues on a highway. I mean, it's a highway after all, a large country road. Goes where? To Nelson, right? Yeah. So this is where we can update those streets, first of all, for those cars. This will of course also then increase the growth of Bolton and Nelson once again. And then we have just this road going from... from here, I think, right? Or from here? There's a car here, it seems. Yes. This car doesn't want to go away. Bye-bye. Alright, so there we have the high speed now going, or the highway going right to Nelson. And now we only need to have the tracks here. We already have high speed here, which is fine. And then we can use the whole thing. Let's just see. Coming out from this. Oh, yeah. Here we do have... Oh, that was the whole street. Let's get rid of it. Oh, what am I doing here? is working. And here we just need now to have the tracks. Has a collision with something. Where's that collision though? Alright, and it's finished. And there we now have a bridge, well, that kind of like has no increase anymore, no angles, no steep angles or something like that, so the trains should be fine passing through. There we have the station then, quite a big station that's going to be still, and I think we are finished actually, right? Here we have everything for high speed now, and that just continues then all the way down to Riverdale. Now we do already have the locomotive 1 on this one, there it is. And this is going to be the biggest upgrade in quite some time. And this one, we can now finally switch to something new. The question is, do I want to have the TGV on it right away? I want to see, the TGV costs really 9.7 million a year. It is extremely expensive, look at that, the BR, the next higher speed locomotive costs almost half of it only, right? And this one here, nah, this is not an option, this one is still the option to go, I think. We have a diesel engine there as well, but none of them seems particularly powerful. Yes, use this one. And the new Einheitswagen that we also have, the latest generation from 1981 right away, so we haven't used that yet. And as we can see, it can be quite long and costs me 50 million. But that's fine, still cheaper than the TGV. And with that, as we can see with the latest wagons there as well in use, looks beautiful. What we could even have, and that is a cool thing, we could even then put, for example, this locomotive on the other side again, right? Because, well, we do have the money anyway, having it on both sides. It would put the condition to excellent, so it would be even faster with this. Of course, also more expensive, but it's a test. It's a test if that is usable actually for the future, right? 2 locomotives on either side. The only thing that we have now is the electricity once again, this error message. It's by now, I'm pretty sure, a bug, but I can see, nope, there's no problem here. Perhaps we do have a problem with some non-electrified platforms there still. Always an option. And though in this case, I don't think so really. I think in this case, we really have, once again, a bug. There we have nothing here. So there was a steam locomotive on it before, so there was no problem, obviously. Now we have the problem. Yep, I cannot see anything. It's still on the tracks though, so it's still working, as I can see. In all its glory. I so love these trains, incredible, especially now these new ones there, and with locomotives on either side. I think this gives a nice touch to the whole thing. Money is fine so far, it's still running. No problem. Oh, there, it's another train that was meant for it. Ah, it's that one here, that poor fellow that I destroyed more or less on purpose, I think. Let's go back to the depot with you. Perhaps something changes then. Nope, not really. There is no train anymore, it's just a wagon. Let's replace it real quick with, I think, the same thing again, this one. And then it used food, right? There it is. Doesn't need to be that much food anyway. It was never really full, I think. And the train is already making profit, very beautiful. And since we do have one in Riverdale, I'm going to send a second one right out there then as well. And as we can see, it is almost full, so in that regard, I shouldn't worry about that. I think there are enough people who want to travel with those trains. That is that. The TGV, let's just have a look. I really want to make sure that it is making us some decent amount of money. We do have now 2 of them on the way. There we have the first one, 6.2 million at the moment, and as we can see, it goes up to 150 kilometers an hour right now. I have no idea how we can reach these 300 kilometers. Perhaps we need a way more open track system then as well, and yeah, that is something to look forward to as the next one is coming through here. Though with 144 people, well, we don't have that many people who can fit in such a train. We definitely will have to make something here. We could even merge 2 of them if we wanted to, but that would be way too long. I'd rather have more of them because it's just so beautiful to watch them coming into a station like this one. And 5 million once again in credits. Amazing. So we're doing some good stuff here. And of course, the more people and the faster we can deliver those people and transport those people, the higher goes also my public transportation statistics here. So with Bolton, we're almost reaching 300% now, which is just amazing in my opinion. Beautiful. And it's 1983. Let's just have a look what else we can do. I think also for the airports, as we can see, it's looking quite fine now. So for Sleepy Hollow, we got 60 people waiting. For Bolton Yarmouth, we got 45 people waiting. So there's actually quite a lot of demand for crossing those airports with each other. And something else that came along now, because from time to time we do have quite the congestion on Bolton Airport since lots of lines are coming together here. What we can finally do is, well, we can have different runways. So we can have now a second runway for that. And here we have it. As we can see, boom, there it is. And I could have a next one then here. That's a taxiway actually. Now we have two of them. Of course, this is a blast. So with that, we could, for example, say that all the trains have to land in this direction or in this direction. And all of these planes launch like this plane here now. Right, so can they... And how many can we actually place here? Could I have one more runway? I think we would now need a taxiway. No, I think 2 is the maximum that we can have. And I'd also say that both of them have to land from this direction, right? And they both start into this direction, for example. I could also say that this one here only allows for landing and this one only allows for starting, for example, if you want that. Beautiful. Do we have any more new trains? As we can see, by the way, our food transportation is not making that much money anymore as it used to be, I think. So there we have Air Food, it's 5.6 million, and the other one, the new one that we have, is making 4 million. Both of them are making profit. Also, the Bolton Yarmouth is making profit, a lot so. That is fine, and what we can see is that TGV is really the highest profitable line that we have, with 8 million now. So it's really, really worth it having these high-speed trains, even though they cost me quite a lot of money. Now another thing that we have is the buses. We do have new buses. Oh, and we do have new planes. This Boeing 757 and the Boeing 757 for cargo. And this is what I want to see. Separate launch and landing here as well. Let's use the new Boeing then here for the food that we have, and there we have it, and capacity is 51. In comparison, it can carry twice as much cargo now than the old planes. I don't think that I'll be needing that many planes then anymore. It costs me another 100 million, and there we have it, the latest cargo. 50 food for each of these planes. That is amazing. Beautiful. So with that, we can really, I think we can really slow down on the planes now. We don't need that many. There we got another Air Food coming in now. We're also going to switch them. And if I see that, well, there's not enough food for those, we're probably just going to replace all of them. Where is passengers? There's passenger coming in. Because of course, I also want to use the latest Boeing 757 for the passengers. And there it is. For Ulverston. Fantastic. 50 people. That is quite a lot. That is quite a lot of people that we can now transport with those ones. And those are not even the biggest planes. I'm so waiting for the Airbus A380. Stay tuned.